So I've been in the auto industry for well over 30 years. I started with a volume brand, and I was actually being recruited to go to a premium brand, and then at the same time, I was recruited to go to Bentley. I had been with Bentley for 6.5 years prior to becoming president and CEO. Knew the team, knew the network of dealers, knew the product and the vision of where Bentley was going, so it was a very seamless transition. Being in the luxury automotive space is really the pinnacle of my career, and certainly being president and CEO. Coming into the role, I wanted to really focus on the customer experience, telling the brand story around Bentley, our retailers putting on spectacular events. So a lot of what we've done has really been focused on brand elevation.
I feel like some people might say you don't really need to elevate the brand Bentley. It is Bentley after all.
There's different levels of elevation. So obviously we're considered one of the top luxury automotive brands, but we also seek to be looked at as a luxury brand in general, continuing to grow out and tell a luxury lifestyle position rather than a luxury automotive position. A lot of what we encourage our retailers to do is to have intimate dinners or launch parties. The true experience is getting somebody in our car, driving our car for a bit of an extended period of time.
And I think that brings us to the reason we're all here. Why make a Supersports?
Back in July of last year, we had a new global chairman and CEO, Frank Walliser. His focus was to bring a performance product to Bentley. It really came to life over a 1-year period, where it would usually take anywhere from 3 to 4 years to create a car.
How were you able to get from concept to completion that quickly?
I think there were bits and pieces of something already in the works, but they were able to meld, I think, 2 concepts together and bring Supersports, to market.
Did you view it more as an entirely new model or more like an adaptation of an existing model?
Some people will say the Bentley Continental Supersports, it's actually the Bentley Supersports. So it's looked at within our portfolio as its own model. If you look at Bentley in the luxury space with all the different brands, we're really the only brand that brings luxury and performance together. That's what we pride ourselves on. The deposits after the launch last Thursday in New York have been coming in fast and furious. I would say at this point, we're about 65% sold out. And based on the trend, I wouldn't be surprised if we're sold out by the end of the year globally. As this becomes successful, it could possibly lead to another product, then another product, and then kind of build that, that product portfolio around true performance.
A lot of people tend to view Bentley as a purely luxury brand. Do you feel like they tend to forget about the racing heritage?
Obviously, when you look at the exterior, it's about the luxury piece, but when you actually drive it and you take it from Bentley mode and put it into sport mode and you feel that engine kick in and you hear the noise, it brings people back to, one of Bentley's foundations, one of its cornerstones was performance along with craftsmanship. So it all comes back together.
What does Bentley mean to you?
It's about craftsmanship, it's about luxury, it's about performance. And when I go back to the factory and I see all those people in Crewe, England that have worked there, and it's been generational. Their grandfather worked there, their mother or father works there, now the children are working there. I have a massive sense of responsibility to do the best job that I can to provide for them.
Last week in New York City, I saw that you were there. How did it feel being in that room?
Incredible energy. Absolutely, incredible energy. I think, when you work for a car company, and certainly one that has this type of heritage, sometimes you're too close to it and maybe you take it for granted. But to see 550 to 600 people, storm the stage, look at the car, has really been absolutely overwhelming. We have a physical car that people can see. They can't drive. We'll actually have a drivable car here probably the middle of 26. Here in the United States, we're the majority of the sales globally at about 35%. So I wanted to have it here, to have it go through, the largest market, which is Florida. Palm Beach is the first retailer in the United States that actually has the car at their showroom. Prior to that, it was only shown in New York when we did the global launch event. So it's be very exciting for me tonight to actually see a more intimate group of people and how they react to the car.
When you're dealing with customers and trying to figure out what they're going to want, is it more important to be reactive to what they are telling you or proactive to what you think they're going to want?
That's a great question. A vehicle isn't brought to market myopically where we're the only ones that think it's going to work. There are consumer groups that take place, not only in one part of the US, but many places in the US and obviously many places globally. So we want to get some interaction with the client before we go to full production. In most cases, the cars are evolutionary when a new model comes out rather than revolutionary. So you make slight changes to vehicles, but nothing that is going to, I would say, alienate or push your loyal owner base away.
Do you feel like it's hard to try and break the mold? Try something totally different?
For a smaller brand, we need to stay true to what we are. We will eventually enter into electric. That's going to happen in a couple of years. But as of now, our focus is on making Supersports as successful as we possibly can, so then we can build off of that, possibly another product. But really, for us, the big change will take place when we go into the electric space.
I think a lot of people would love to know what is in the pipeline.
The product portfolio and cadence for the future is very robust. It's very robust. From two-door through four-door through our SUV models. But that's about all I can say at this point.
I gotta ask.
Yeah, no, I get it. And believe me, I've seen it and I would love to tell you. But the reality is there's always changes that take place. I don't want to say something's going to happen and it doesn't.
That's got to be the hardest part, is keeping it to yourself.
We talk internally. You need to keep your retailers motivated. You certainly need to keep your teams motivated about, hey, I've seen I've seen what's coming. It's incredibly exciting. It's revolutionary. It's not evolutionary.
How many frequent flyer miles must you have at this point?
Last year I flew 138 times.
That's a lot of little bags of pretzels.
Yeah. You know what? It's all good travel. It's coming to great events like this, meeting with phenomenal retailers here at Palm Beach. It's what we do.
Is it worth it?
It is. It is. I mean, I love working for Bentley. Funny story, I had been with Bentley for about 2 years. The president and CEO of Volkswagen Group of America called me up. He said, Mike, let's sit down for 30 minutes. He said, when are you ready to come over to Volkswagen or Audi? I said, you know what, Scott? I found my perfect place in life. This is where I want to be. So it's a great brand to work for. Obviously, the heritage over 105 years old, incredible products, very proud. People love to associate with a really successful luxury brand, and that's what Bentley is.